Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me, and um, appreciate the opportunity just to be able to speak to you guys and hopefully be able to impart some wisdom. I just want to piggyback on what Coach Davis was talking about with the Alaska football camp. I've made some unbelievable connections through that camp, not only with some of you guys sitting in the room, but other college coaches that have honestly, I wouldn't be at Stephen F. Austin if it wasn't for the Alaska football camp. I met our head coach, Coach Carthel, in Alaska about 10 years ago now, and developed a relationship. And as you guys know, in football and in life, relationships lead to opportunities. And so when he got the job here at Stephen F. Austin, he asked me if I wanted to come and recruit. I'm the recruiting coordinator and running backs coach here at SFA. So I've been a quarterback. I played quarterback in college. I've coached quarterbacks for most of my career. And got the opportunity now to finally get to coach some athletes. Sorry, Connor. So here I am at Stephen F. Austin. I'm married. I've got three children. My wife Melanie's a nurse, and she is phenomenal. But I have a son Peyton, a daughter Ava who's 5, and my daughter Olivia who's 3. So I feel very fortunate and blessed to be been able to be some places in my career that we've had a lot of success, and I've seen the good and bad, I guess you could say, of college football. And tonight, man, I just wanted to share with you guys kind of my heart, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of times that you come through these clinics and you want to talk X's and O's and all that kind of stuff, man. But I really believe that being a coach is a calling. And I think that we have an opportunity to impact more people, more kids on a daily basis than in any other profession, you know, and being called coach is something that it's something very special. And so I just want to commend you guys. I know it's not easy. I know it takes time away from your families and hobbies and things like that, but making a difference in kids' lives is what I hope you're in it for, because if you're investing in people, you're always investing in the right thing. So tonight I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've struggled with in my own life as a coach, and some of the things that I see our athletes struggle with on a yearly basis. And so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. At any time, guys, if there's questions or comments, or please don't hesitate to I don't know, type in the chat or speak up or whatever needs to happen. And I'll try to answer it as well as I possibly can. And again, I don't have all the answers. And so I'm just going to put that out there first and foremost. I don't have all the answers, but these are some of the things that I've learned from some of the head coaches that I've been around. This is year 12 now in college coaching. And so I've been around the block a little bit, I guess. I'm not quite as old as maybe my beard tells me I am, but been blessed to be around some really good coaches. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead, and I think I can share my screen here and get started. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see that or not.
You got it, Coach.
Okay. Let me see if I can, once I share it, if I can. Does that show you my email right there or no?
I do not see your email.
Okay, so you're still on the PowerPoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, so tonight I'm going to share with you guys something that I share with my athletes, and it's one of 4 pillars that we talk about. And again, you know, I'm in I've been blessed to coach quarterbacks for a long time. You know, one thing with coaching quarterbacks is a lot of times when you're coaching quarterbacks, you're coaching a kid that comes from a really good family, usually a 2-parent home, you know, kind of has their head on straight, and, you know, usually just great kids that have had some advantages in the past. Now coaching running backs, you know, it's not the same. You know, I've got 9 guys in my room right now. 7 of the 9 guys don't know who their biological father is. And so, I feel like God has placed me in a unique situation to be able to pour in these young men's lives and give them maybe something that they weren't able to get from their father. And so this is a pillar that I go through with my guys, and it's called the foundation. And so I'm going to scroll through this with you guys. Again, at any time, you guys have a question or anything like that, please don't hesitate. So, the first thing that we always talk about is faith. And I tell my guys, man, you have to believe in something. Okay. No matter what you believe in, you got to believe in something that's bigger than yourself. Everybody feels it deep inside their soul, that void, and I've felt it, I feel it. I know there's a lot of people that try to seek to fill it with success, seek to fill it with women, with money, with relationships, with family. None of those things in it of themselves are bad, but when you're seeking those things to fill that void, it will never truly satisfy you. And so, I am a man of faith, and that is my rock. That is my foundation. I tell my guys all the time, man, you got to believe in something, because the rain is going to come at some point on the just and unjust alike. And if you're built on anything other than the rock, you're going to find yourself wanting. And so we always talk about your faith, and you have to believe in something. I'm a big believer in guys believing in something bigger than themselves, and something to be able to go to for help in a time of crisis and a time of need. We're created for more. And I put a couple of things on here. I'm just going to speak from my own coaching profession. I started my coaching career at Northwest Missouri State. And I don't know if many of you guys know this school. It's a Division II school in Missouri. It's the Alabama of Division II football. Okay. When I had gotten there, they had gotten done playing in 2010. That was my first year there. They had just finished 5 national championship appearances in a row. While I was there, we had a 46-0 conference win streak. I mean, they're unbelievable program, unbelievable culture, unbelievable people. Got to know them really well. And they dominated the MIAA. I mean, dominated that league that we were in for years and years and years. Well, fast forward to about 8 years, I'm still in the MIAA, but I'm coaching quarterbacks now at Fort Hays State University. It's another team in the MIAA. And Coach Brown, the head coach there, had done an unbelievable job of building that team and that program up. And we're 10-0, and we're headed to Northwest. And Northwest is undefeated as well. This is for the conference championship. This is to seed us in the playoffs, to see where we're going to go in the playoffs. And Fort Hays had never beaten Northwest. Northwest had gone I want to say their home winning streak was at something crazy, 50 games or something like that. They hadn't lost at home. And so we go to Northwest, and long story short, we win by 1 point. It was it was not what you call a shootout. I think we won 13-12. And I'm sitting on the bus, and I literally have the conference championship trophy next to me. And I'm looking around the bus, and this feeling of, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And all that hard work, winning a conference championship on that field, the place that I used to coach, knowing those guys so well, the rivalry that was created, all of those things built up to this huge crescendo. And I'm sitting there with the trophy next to me, and I know that if this is as good as it gets, we're in trouble, because it's not enough. And so, I tell that to my guys all the time, that, man, if we're seeking our identity, if we're seeking, to fill that void with what we do, with the success that we do here, it's never going to satisfy you. And I put a tweet up here by Jim Carrey, and I think it's pretty powerful. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they've ever dreamed of, so that they can see that it's not the answer. And my guy's like, okay, that's Jim Carrey. Well, then I like to click on this, and I don't know if hopefully no ads. Of course, we're gonna have an ad.
With free OK Here We Go details. Whether you bike. Why do I have free Super Bowl games?
Okay, so here we go. Tom Brady. Okay. So Tom Brady just got done winning a Super Bowl, his third Super Bowl. Okay. And I'm, in his hotel room after the Super Bowl MVP, he's probably got Giselle in the bathroom getting ready to come to bed. And he's struggling with the same thing that I'm thinking of. Okay. He's got a supermodel wife. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars and won at the highest level that he possibly can be at. And he's saying to himself these things.
Why do I have 3 Super Bowl rings and still think there's something greater out there for me? I mean, maybe a lot of people would say, hey man, this is what it is. I reached my goal, my dream, my life is me. I think, God, it's got to be more than this. I mean, this can't be what it's all cracked up to be. I mean, I've done it. I'm 27. And what else is there for me?
What's the answer?
I wish I knew.
Again, I think that's very powerful to show our guys that, man, even at the highest level, there's guys that still struggle with trying to fill that void with what they do. And I'm going to just show you one more quick video here. Some other successful people saying the same things, and to know that it's not just us that do this.
When How I Met Your Mother first went on the air, I ran into an actress that I knew, and she said, "Are you just like so happy all the time?"
Why am I unhappy? Okay, so this Stephanie Gaga hybrid person. Why are you unhappy? Why is it that you want to quit music?
And I remember thinking like, oh, that sitcom's coming. Like that sitcom, it's coming. And when I got it, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a depression, but you kind of go through a disappointment because that fame or that thing didn't satisfy the way you thought it was going to satisfy.
I had bought into the not uncommon notion that when I taste success, when I get over there, then I'll be happy. But the strangest thing happened. As the show got more successful, I got more depressed.
I thought it would be good to be rich and famous. It would be good to be the opposite of this. It would be good to have stuff. It'd be good to have money. It'd be good to be invited to the party. Well, I've been invited. I've been in. We're having this chat in a private Swish members club in East London. It's super cool. There's bare brick walls. Everyone's double good looking. But I've been inside now. I've seen the other side of the looking glass. It ain't fucking worth it. It's not good. It don't feed your soul. I still feel empty inside.
I had everything a man could want, even then. I was a millionaire. I had beautiful women in my life. I had cars, a house, an incredible, solid gold career, and a future. And yet, on a daily basis, I wanted to commit suicide.
As a Beatle, we made it, and there was nothing to do. We had money, we had fame, and there was no joy.
The media told me every day, and it's telling you every day what it is to be successful. So you've got MTV Cribs, you've got billionaires in front of your face, you have these extrinsic, external goals that will say, oh, Tom Shadyac has arrived. He has the right house, the right car, he flies privately. And when I got there, it was empty.
I was successful in the music business. I was successful in modeling, in television, in real estate. So I made all this money and I had all this success. And here I was going, okay, I still don't feel any different.
We are told that if we're beautiful, if we're skinny, if we're successful, famous, if we fit in, if everyone loves us, that we'll be happy. But that's not entirely true.
I don't like...
Okay, so you get the point. I mean, it's just person after person talking about trying to fill that void with their success. And I know as football coaches, all of us in here have some of an ego, right? Everybody in here wants to be the best at what they do. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best. There is something wrong with filling that void in your soul with materialistic success, because that will never, ever satisfy. And that's what I tell my guys all the time. You're so much more than what you do. You're so much more than a football player. Okay. And your identity needs to be grounded in something that's greater than you. Okay. And I tell my guys this all the time, and I hope it hit home for you. It hit home for me. It hits home for me. It hits home for them. Right now, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a football coach. Okay. But I could get a call as soon as I hang up this Zoom that I'm none of those things. Coach Carthel, my head coach, could call me and say, hey, guess what? Appreciate all the work you've done, but we're going to go in a different direction. I could get a call in 5 minutes that there's something terrible has happened to my family, and I'm none of those things anymore. And so what am I gonna identify myself as if those things get taken away? And so, man, I talk to my guys, and I would encourage you guys, man, have your identity grounded in something that can never be taken away from you. Something that can never be, it may be love. It may be, your relationship with God. It may be whatever that is, but it has to be something that can never be taken away from you. I see this all the time with our athletes. They're the top 1% of high school athletes go on to play collegiately. Okay. So you've got these guys that are playing college football that were the best in their high school. They've been catered to, they know they're good. They get to college and now they're not the best. Not only are they, in the recruiting process now, these guys get told how they're going to come in and they're going to start right away and how they're going to make an impact. They're the difference maker. They're this, they're that, they're this. And they get on campus and they realize, well, not only am I not going to start, but I'm probably the third or fourth best guy in the room. Or they are one of the select few that get there and they are that special and they are starting right away. And then I had this happen, a freshman running back, summer that he got on campus, walking across campus, steps off a curb and blows out his knee. And his whole identity is shot. He doesn't know, he goes into depression. And I see it all the time with our athletes that, man, if their identity isn't grounded in something more than what they do, then at some point the game's going to quit us. At some point, all of us in here, whether playing it or coaching it, the game's going to quit you. And so your identity has to be grounded in something greater, and that can't be taken away from you. Talked about, again, accomplishments are short-lived. My son's named after Peyton Manning. I'm the Denver Broncos fan. I grew up in Denver. I love the Broncos. I hope Aaron Rodgers comes to the Broncos. Come on, A-Rod. But when Peyton Manning retired, the Broncos they didn't stop playing football. They moved on. You think about NFL college coaches, high school coaches, Galen Brantley, the most decorated Alaska football coach right now in a long time. I don't know how many state championships he's won in a row. Well, when he decides to hang it up, Soldotna's still going to play football. They're still going to move on. Accomplishments are short-lived. I tell my guys, who's the best athlete ever to play here? Who's the best athlete to ever play at SFA? And they give me guys that have been drafted, or we had a, Walter Payton Award winner, essentially the Heisman FCS. And it's like, what do they have to show for here, guys? If I get fired today, you'll move on. There'll be a new coach in here. You'll move on. Life is going to move on. You're so much more than what you do, right? And that leads me into talking about purpose, calling, and assignment. So we know we have to have faith, okay? We have to have identity that's based in something that can't be taken away from us. But that leads us to, what's my purpose? What am I put on this earth for? So I know I have faith. I know what my identity is based in. Well, why am I here? Like, why did God put me on this earth? Okay. And so your purpose, that's why you're here. What is that? What were you put on this earth for? It wasn't merely to work some 9-to-5 job for 50 years and be done. That's not your purpose. People often confuse what they do with their true purpose, right? Walking in your true purpose is going to create a legacy. Okay. Now, again, as a believer, I believe that our purpose here is to love God and love people, right? Those are the two things that I think everybody that's on this earth is put on this earth to do, is to love their maker, know their maker, and to love people just as much, right? And so, what is your purpose? Why are you here? Your calling is different. Your calling is unique to everybody. I think people's purpose is the same. I think everybody has a very similar purpose. Your calling is unique to you. Okay. It's your unique way that you express your purpose. Okay. Your calling changes from person to person. My calling may be different than yours. Your calling may be different than Coach Davis's. Coach Davis's may be different than Coach Brantley, whoever, right? It's different from person to person, okay? Usually your calling it's kind of what you're good at, right? Like what are those things that it's on the docket tomorrow, you don't got to set the alarm for, right? What is that for you? You know, it's usually things that when you have to do this thing, or you get to do this thing, I should say, you're not just putting 80% in. You're giving it 110%. You're passionate about it. You're fired up to be able to do this. And that's usually how you find your calling, right? Those things that you know people have told you, man, you're really good at this. This is something you should think about doing. That's your calling, right? And again, how you put your calling into play every single day is going to be different. It's going to be different for you than it is for me. But for me, that my calling is leading people. Like I love to lead people. Like, people ask me, why do you coach? Well, I want to lead men to be able to develop other men. Like I want to develop men to develop men, right? And use the game of football to be able to do that. That's my calling. I want to, however I can do that, however I can lead these guys in a positive way, that's what I want to do. Now, my assignment has changed, and your assignment is going to change, right? It's the current situation in which you're expressing your calling. My assignment now is different than it was when I was at Fort Hays. My assignment at Fort Hays was different when I was at Northwest or Colorado Mesa or wherever else before that, right? You can have different assignments throughout your life, but it all should tie into or come back to your calling, right? My calling is different now, or excuse me, my assignment is different now coaching running backs than it was at coaching quarterbacks. It's a different customer, right? My approach has to be different, but my calling is still the same. I'm still trying to lead men who then can lead their own men, right? Whether they're going to coaching or they go into raising a family or whatever that looks like. My calling is still the same. And so, your assignment, again, occupations, roles change. That's how you're going to express your unique individual calling. Okay. So how do I find my calling? So there's 5 questions I'm going to ask you guys. If you want to write down these answers or write down these questions, and you can kind of go through these on your own and look yourself in the mirror and try to find your calling. But this is a routine that I do with my guys to kind of figure out, what they're good at. Okay. What am I passionate about? What fires me up? The first one is I just ask them, who are you? Okay. I make them speak their name. So who are you? Okay. The second one is, what do you do? What do you love to do? What do you feel like you're more qualified than anybody else to be able to teach people about? Right? What is that to you? Okay. Who do you do it for? Who benefits from what you do? What do they want or need? Why do they need you to teach them this thing that you're so qualified to be able to teach them? And then how do they change or transform because of what you give them? Okay. So again, this is unique to everybody. I kind of told you guys my calling, I feel like is to lead men, right? To develop men who then can develop men. So I'm going to, Coach Davis, if you don't mind being my guinea pig here, we're just going to go through this little thing with you. And I want you to answer it as honestly as you can and let these guys kind of hear you out. So first, Coach Davis, who are you?
I'm Tim Davis.
Perfect. Okay. Tim, what do you do? What do you love to do? What do you feel most qualified to teach people about?
I love to I teach football and media broadcasting here, and honestly, getting into the backcountry, snowboarding a little bit. I think getting in the snow is important to me.
Okay, good. Well, you mentioned football and media broadcasting. Okay, so what you feel most qualified to teach those things? Who do you do it for? Like who benefits from you doing what you do?
The students here at West, and then by default, hopefully they're the community around them, where they go.
Okay, good. What do they want or need? Like, why do they need you to? Why do they need you to do it versus someone else?
I'm in this place this time. I happen to have the skill sets that I do, and I can utilize them in this building. And that's I guess that's it.
Perfect. Okay. So then how do they change because of what you give them?
I hope they're going to be better dads, better community members. Hope they're gonna hug their mom a little bit more. All those things.
Yeah, perfect. And so like what I like to do with this, man, too, is like when I'm going through this with my athletes is I like to speak life into them, right? Like I like to, and I'm just going to use you again, Tim, for an example, because I've been around you at Alaska camp for 5 years and I feel like I know you well enough to be able to do this. You do a lot more than teach football and broadcasting, right? I've seen you love kids that have not had that from a man in their life. I've seen you hold these young men accountable when they don't want to be held accountable, you know, and showing them love through discipline. And even to speaking to your media broadcast, like I know I've gotten it. I've enjoyed that from watching what you do now with your podcast, with what you're doing to connect coaches here. You know, it's much more than just teaching broadcast. Like you're connecting people. You're connecting people. That's how you're using your calling to connect. And not just your athletes benefit from it, but I benefit from it. These other coaches benefit from it, you know? And if you weren't here doing it, I don't know if I would be here doing it. I don't know if these coaches would be gathered here tonight to be able to listen to this thing. And so like, I like to go through these things and talk to my athletes and say, man, sometimes you have to help guide them to what their calling is. And again, everybody's going to be different, right? You know, Tim's going to be modest in front of all these men, his peers and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any issue with telling him exactly who he is. Like, dude, you love on your kids really well. You communicate really well. And it shows in how your kids play. It shows in what you're passionate about. And I appreciate you. And that's a powerful thing to be able to say to an 18-year-old kid or 22-year-old man that, man, I love you and I'm proud of you. And this is what I see in you. So I would encourage you guys, man, look yourselves in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself about what you're passionate about, what it is that you really want to be able to leave your legacy on. And that's your calling, and use your assignment, whatever assignment that is. It may be I'm a volunteer coach and I'm only able to get there at practice. It may be I'm the head coach. It may be I'm a flag. It doesn't matter what that is. Whatever assignment you're in right now, whatever current assignment you're in, do it to the best of your ability to love on these kids. And that just leads me to my last thing, which is just service. You know, seek significance, not success. Seek significance, not success. Okay. And so I would just encourage you guys right now, think about a single person, one person who's had the biggest impact on your life. Okay. Coach Davis, you're here. So I'm going to ask you again, who is that one person that's had the biggest impact on your life?
Oh, my dad.
Okay, perfect. Connor Feckley, who's the one person who's had the biggest influence on your life?
My mom.
Okay, your mom. Okay, Coach G, who's your biggest influence? Hope you're still on there. I'm calling you out.
He might be muted, Coach. Type it in the chat, Coach.
Okay, really, you know, my whole point with this is a lot of people talk, whether it's a mom, their dad, a mentor, an aunt, an uncle, you know, whoever that is, a guardian. But what do they all have in common? Like what was the common denominator of all those people? And it's usually, you know, time, their presence, right? And their consistency in presence. You know, people, a lot of times you think of service and you think of, you know, giving to the needy and charity. And there's time and a place for that, especially with athletes, to teach them that, right? But you are in contact with people every single day, like countless hours with these kids every single day. And man, your service to those kids is the same thing that was given to you by whoever that person was, right? My person was my dad too, right? My dad was constantly there, consistently present, you know, and consistently encouraging and all of those things. And I try to model that for my guys, that's an area where I can serve them. You know, it doesn't mean I don't coach them hard. It doesn't mean I don't hold them accountable. It doesn't mean I don't discipline them, right? But I'm trying to every single day pour into these young men to let them know, man, you are so much more than a football player. Coach Davis, you are so much more than a football coach and a media professor. You guys are so much more than football coaches. You know, trying to get them to see who they really are and who, you know, who God made you guys and who God made us to be. Then the last one is, you know, seeking service for those who are less fortunate. And I think, you know, this is not something that, you know, happens a lot, right? I think it's something that has to be sought out, and especially with athletes, because I think, you know, they don't really realize how many people are hurting, you know, and in our community here, you know, I know in Alaska, there's a lot of people that are not well off, and being able to use your talents, your gifts, not just money, but time, to seek significance, right? And anybody who's had a significant impact on you guys, on your life, has done it through consistency and done it through presence. And so I would encourage you guys, man, you know, just in closing, you got to believe in something. You have to have faith in something. You have to have an identity that's grounded in more than just what you do. Okay. Know your purpose, know your calling, and use those things in your daily assignments. And then through your daily assignments, seek significance, not success. Serve your athletes, serve those around you, you know, and that's what it's really about. That's how you're going to leave a lasting legacy. So I don't know, I'm a little short here on my time, Coach Davis, but that's really all I have for you guys tonight. If there any questions or anything I can answer you from that?
Coaches out in Zoom world, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up if you would like. If anybody has any questions in the room here, you guys can fire away. Good stuff, Coach. Well, Coach, we thank you for coming on. We'll have this up online for everybody out there as well. It'll be on demand for you guys. And no, awesome job. Thank you, Coach. And we appreciate you. And we'll be talking soon, my friend.
Awesome. Is there any, before we go, I mean, you got me here. Is there any football questions y'all have?
What's your current spring status, Coach?
Oh man, we just finished spring ball. So we're done right now. We're in the recruiting phase. So we're on to 2022s.
Beautiful.
Did you want Justin Fields to go to the Broncos?
I'm glad we did not pick Justin Fields. I'm really glad we did not pick Mac Jones.
Right on.
I was surprised we didn't take a quarterback though.
Coach Baylash up in Fairbanks asks, what do you look for in running backs?
Oh, great question. You know, I like to have a running back. Deep speed is not a huge deal to me. So like, you know, if the kid's a 4.6 kid, that's fine. That's not a deal breaker. I want to see great acceleration. Somebody that has good vision. Vision is something that's kind of hard to teach. You can tell a kid what he needs to read. You can tell a kid, you know, how it should play out, but vision is something that's hard to teach. You know, we try to do that through drill work, but it's kind of one of those things where you got it or you don't. So great vision, good acceleration, great contact balance, being able to, you know, break tackles. He doesn't have to be a shifty guy. You can have great contact balance and be shifty. But, you know, it doesn't necessarily, we don't have like a mold where you have to be a 5'11", 205 pound, 4-5 running back. You know, we're gonna try to find the best athlete that we can possibly find and be able to mold them, figure out how we need to get them the football. Cause I've got a guy that right now that is 5'8", you know, and honestly probably a 4.8 40, but his acceleration is ridiculous. He's got great vision. He's very elusive. And then I also got a 5'11", you know, 200 pound guy that ran a 10.5 100 meter and in high school, so very different, right? But they're both equally impressive. So to me, great vision, good burst, great contact balance, and then like that, if you can get somebody that's fluid and elusive, those are really important things. I do think that if you don't see a kid making, like for me, as if I'm evaluating tape, if I see a kid hitting a lot of home runs on running the football, but I don't ever see him make anybody miss, I would tend to recruit a kid that is able to make the third level defender miss rather than just somebody that's going to be able to run straight and fast. I want to see how he responds in the conflict. So those are things that I look for when I'm evaluating tape.
Coach Garcia, of course, asks a defensive question. He says, what is the one thing you hate seeing a defense do to confuse your quarterbacks? Constant movement, stationary with post snap, switch of coverage, something else?
Defenses that make you earn it, they suck. So if I'm a head coach tomorrow, and I'm hiring a defensive coordinator, to me, odd fronts are harder to game plan for than even fronts. So I think you can disguise blitzes better. So it's harder for the quarterback to know where blitzes are coming from. It's harder from a protection standpoint with the running back and O-line. You can hide those things a little bit better. And what I mean by earn it is don't give gimmies, right? So like, you may play cover 3, but press bail. Okay. And why I say that is if I know I can't, as a quarterback, if I can't just take a hitch whenever I want it, if you're creating some doubt that you might be in cover 1 instead of cover 3, that makes it harder on offenses. And then anytime you're shifting or moving before the snap, that will eliminate run game pretty quickly. Like your run game menu gets eliminated really quickly when you see a lot of movements and shifts right before the snap. So those are the things defensively that probably give us the most problems.
Anybody else? Questions? Well, if we got anything, Coach, I'll make sure that we forward anything on to you, and we'll be in contact. But we'll get you back up to Alaska at some point, get you back up to the Russian, and we'll go from there, my friend.
Sounds great. Appreciate you guys, man. Wish you guys nothing but the best. So really appreciate your time tonight and letting me talk to you guys. And I know, man, what you guys do is not easy. So keep trugging along and getting after those kids and loving on them and leading them. So they need it.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you.